You know, guys, just talking to a friend of mine today, and he is, he really wants to visit some of his family members who live in Israel. And he himself is not an Israeli citizen. So what he did was, he called, we got in touch with Birthright. You guys know the organization, Taglit. And he said, okay, I'm 33 years old. Am I still eligible to go on Birthright? They said yes. And then he said, okay, do I need to be you-know-what? Do I need to take the you-know-what? They said yes, unfortunately yes. And the woman that he was speaking to on the phone, ironically, works for Birthright. She works from home. She lives in Israel. She's a citizen of Israel. And she will not be taking the you-know-what because she doesn't want to. She doesn't want to. So the person that he was talking to doesn't have to take this, but my friend has to take this. So I said to my friend, so let me get this straight. People who live in Israel, who are citizens of Israel, or physically in Israel, are not considered fully you-know-what unless they take 3 doses. However, a person who wants to come into Israel on a tour, let's say they're coming from America, can go and take 1 shot, just one, of a particular company that actually is not available in Israel. There's only one company available in Israel. Maybe now there's going to be a second one. But the one that's not going to be available, it's not the one that's not available. All you need is one from them. And you will be considered fully you-know-what, and you will be able to go on a trip to Israel. Even though the people in Israel are not considered you-know-what with the thing that you just took in America. 1 shot of. My friends, on top of that, somebody like me who's an Israeli citizen can come back scot-free without taking it. All I have to do is quarantine, right? My friends, let me know if any of what I just said makes any damn bit of sense to you. Because it doesn't make any damn bit of sense to me. And I suspect that's precisely the damn point. That's precisely the point. It's not meant to make sense, my friends. And there's a thing called the sniff test. And this whole situation, when you put it up to the sniff test, it doesn't pass the sniff test, my friends. Because if it doesn't make any damn sense, then it doesn't make any damn sense. And if it doesn't make any damn sense, it's one of 2 things, guys. Either it's stupid, or it's stupidity on the part of the people who are involved, in charge, or there's a plan. There's a sinister plan. Guys, it's one of the 2. It can't be anything else. Based on what I just described to you, it can't be, I have a friend that says it's bad policy. No. Bad policy, really? From really smart people? You keep telling us that these people are really smart. Trust the experts, they're really smart. So smart people are doing bad policy. Smart people are stupid. My friends, I'm sorry. In Russian, we say, Не веши мне лапшу на уши. It means don't try to hang noodles on my ears. It means don't make a fool out of me. Don't tell me BS to my face. Okay? You know, my friends, I keep hearing about people who are offended when other people compare what's happening today to what happened 80 years ago. To, the Jewish people in Europe. They're offended. They're offended at this. How can you this? How can you compare? How can you blah? How can you da 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 blah 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 blah. See, the problem is, my friends, most people don't have a really good education on this subject. The education that they have is the what you see when you go to Yad Vashem, which was essentially the end result of it, right? I mean, they also show the lead up to it, but they show essentially the end result of it. My friends, I for the longest time, ever since I can remember, I was obsessed with watching documentaries and specials and programs on the History Channel and Discovery Channel, specifically about not the camps, right? I was obsessed with watching documentaries about the years, 1920 or the years 1917 until the years, what is it called? 33. That's what I was obsessed with. I was obsessed with the lead up, or 1938, let's say, about Bernstein. I'll explain what I mean. Okay, you're jumping ahead. You're jumping the gun. And yes, this is worldwide. So the point is, it's got nothing to do with Jews. Meaning, it does, but it doesn't. It has to do with the fact that, if you spoke to a Jew in Poland, right, and in 1933, and you came to him and you said, there's this new regime in Germany, and you told him that these guys are about as bad as Khmelnytsky or the Cossacks. The people that you're talking to will say to you, how dare you? I had relatives, granted it was a long time ago, I had relatives that died at the hands of these people. I had relatives that died at the hands of those guys, those Cossacks. Those people were barbarians. How dare you compare today to then? The Germans are civilized people. They listen to music, they have culture, they have art. They have, universities, they have intellect. You're comparing these people to those barbarians that murdered us, whenever it was, 300 years ago, 200 years ago. My friends, they would be highly, highly offended. They would say, the Germans did not harm us in World War I. Why the hell would they do it now? My friends, my grandfather, who I'm named after, he was an officer in the Soviet Army, before the war. And he came to Berdichev, where he was born. He came to his father, my great-grandfather, Yanko Pinchas. And he came to him and he tried to warn him. And he tried to tell him, the Germans are coming. This is probably already 1939. And my great-grandfather told him? He's like, what are you talking about? Our enemy is Stalin. He's our enemy. Our enemy is not this Hitler guy. The Germans helped us in World War I. What are you talking about? You have your orders. Go to the front lines. You have your orders. You're an officer. Go do what you got to do. But I'm staying here. I have a business. You know, your wife will stay here with me. Your wife and your kid. My daughter-in-law, whatever. And so my grandfather left. He went to the front. My great-grandfather and my grandfather's first wife and kid were liquidated. So my friends, like, it's very easy for us to sit today in the year 2021 and look back with hindsight and watch History Channel and Discovery Channel documentary after documentary after documentary, and understand, how did this even come to be? How did the years 1941 to 1945 even come to be? We can watch the year, 1917, when a man named Hitler was in World War I as a soldier, until and then through 1933, where he hired a guy by the name of Goebbels to do propaganda, and to accuse everybody else of misinformation, and to censor everybody else, and just run basically, the prequel to Big Tech, right? And then we can watch all the way in the lead up to 1939 and 1940. We have the luxury of that, my friends. We have the luxury of hindsight. We have the luxury of crystal clear vision. And we have the luxury of understanding that the people who came to power in Germany at that time, were not regular Germans. They were intellectual, but they weren't just only these cultured guys who were into music and art and university and all the rest of it. These were people who were into all of those things, but on top of that, more importantly, my friends, these were psychopaths who thought that, in this particular case, a certain group of people didn't deserve to live. It was either us or them, or them or it was either them or us, or those people, which namely us. On top of that, they thought that they were like the superior race or whatever it is, right? And their main thing was eugenics, my friends. As I always tell people, Dr. Mengele was a doctor. That's why when I hear people say to me, "Are you a doctor?" Sometimes I say, "I'm glad I'm not." I'm glad I'm not, because Dr. Mengele was a doctor. Dr. Mengele was an expert. Dr. Mengele was a specialist. Dr. Mengele was reputable. He was a doctor. He went to medical school. He had a license to practice medicine, my friends. So, guys, so these people were psychopaths. And, the thing about psychopaths, and by the way, we would consider them psychopaths no matter what background they were. Whether they're German, whether they're, English, it doesn't matter. This kind of psychopathy, psychosis, transcends culture, transcends nationality, transcends race, my friends. This is basically a universal thing. It is Amalek. Okay? Amalek can come in many different forms. In this particular case, it came in the form of the Germans, or the people that were claiming to lead them, right? And my friends, the thing about psychopaths, no matter where you go, the thing about psychopaths is that they usually do their work while we, people like us, are busy being offended. We're offended at everything today. I just read an article that these kids in Oberlin College, surprise, surprise, were offended that cisgender males came to fix their heating and air conditioning systems in their dorm rooms. Why couldn't they come when the dorms were empty while we were on break? This is, these guys really made us nervous. My friends, this was an article on Fox News website. Somebody sent it to me. I don't read the Fox News website. I thought it was, I had to double check and make sure it wasn't, Babylon Bee or what's the other one? On The Onion, I had to make sure, check that it was like a reputable news source or some kind of a, legit news source. Let's put a real article for that matter. So guys, so yeah, these guys do their work while we're busy being offended, right? And that's actually what gives them power. What gives them power is our inability at that time that they're doing their work, most people's inability, not all people, but most people's inability to see them coming, to see them doing their work until it's too late, guys. Until it's too late. I believe I mentioned this before a few times. The people who are claiming to help us, guys, if you just dig a little bit deeper, you don't even have to go that far. Everything's readily available on the internet, and it's like, it's not even on alternative sources. It's readily available on like mainstream websites and mainstream social media, whether it's YouTube or Twitter or wherever else you want to look. All you have to do is see this information, look up this information, and then basically, put two and two together, and you realize that the people that are claiming to help us are bona fide sociopath, psychopaths, and they've been killers for a very long time, even before this situation came along that we're in. They've been killers, my friends, for a very, very, very long time. And if they haven't been killers themselves, they've been funding killers, and they've been funding the killing. Or as my friend, Professor Mordechai Kedar, likes to say, alive and killing. He was talking about Syria, not alive and kicking, but alive and killing. My friend says the Jewish people are involved. That is a shame, I guess. Moderna, okay. Yeah, the CEOs I mentioned this. Yeah, the CEOs of these companies, my friends, are Jewish. I had friends just recently tell me, Tzvi, why do you have to make these videos talking about how the CEOs of all these companies, pharma and all these companies, and all these entities and all these organizations are Jewish? Why do you have to draw attention to us? I said, I'm not drawing attention to us. I'm saying this so that we are prepared when people come after us, because they will, even if Tzvi, the crazy person, draws attention to us or not, they will come after us. Tzvi with his 150, 200 views on YouTube per video, and whatever, shadow banned on this platform. Guys, whoever's watching, it's more of a cautionary message. It's not to draw attention. It's to warn you. If you don't want to be warned, it's a different story. If you don't want to hear about it, it's a different story. That's your problem. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, guys, so guys, I had a meeting with, and I mentioned this in a previous video, today, a shorter video, that I had a meeting, a very long, productive, not even a meeting, it was just hanging out for 5 hours in Miami with the brother of Dr. Z. I'm not going to say his full name, but I've known his brother for about 20 years. We've known each other way before this whole mess happened. We were acquaintances. We knew each other through friends. We used to go to the same, underground house music clubs in New York. And it's interesting, like, now that this situation happened, and then his brother was, became like the guy who has now treated 8,000 people, and it had all kinds of lashon hara said against him, and he himself has health issues right now, actually not to do with COVID. And so it's funny, he told me, so his brother told me, he goes, I was kind of Forrest Gumped into the situation. Forrest Gump meaning I kind of fell into it. Where he effectively became de facto his brother's glorified administrative assistant. Guys? And I was in the car with him 2 days ago, and he was getting phone calls, phone call after phone call after phone call, and he had to refer these people to a, it's not a clinic, it's a I guess a health provider that actually follows his brother's protocol, right? As opposed to most, which will not prescribe you the medications that his brother is recommending, and if they will prescribe to you, some of these pharmacies won't even fill those medications, which is absolutely criminal, guys. It's absolutely criminal. This is what happened to my friend's mother, out in California. They prescribed her one of the things. She went to pharmacy and the pharmacist won't fill it. My friends, I just spoke to you about psychopaths. Do you now understand? Normal people don't tell someone, hey, I'm doing this for your own good, or the good of society, or the good for everybody else. You have to submit to this, and if you don't submit to this, you lose your job and your livelihood. My friends, these are the methods and the machinations of psychopaths, not of people that are trying to help you or society in any way, shape, or form. Get that through your thick, dense brick skulls. These are the machinery of psychopaths. If you lose your job due to something that you don't want to put in your body, and the people who put you up to this, they are psychopaths, my friends. They need a psychiatrist or to be committed to an institution, or I don't know what. Therapy, I don't know. I don't know what they need. If you speak to some people I know, they need like a Pinochet, Augusto Pinochet. There's no recourse for them. There's no cure for them. They just need to be, taken from helicopters. That's some people I know who say that. I don't, whatever. Okay, at the risk of getting deplatformed here. I don't know, guys. That's basically what it is. And the scary part is that at least 50% of people, maybe more, don't recognize this as a fact to be true. Okay? So I spoke to my friend, the brother of Dr. Z, and he basically said, the patient's calling him and this and that and the other. And he even said to me, that he has developed a sort of Ruach HaKodesh, a divine perception when he sees a number flashing on the screen on his phone to know what level of crazy this particular phone call is going to be. Because he's already been at this for about 1.5 years, my friends. He was calling me, this is before I met up with him, he was calling me once a week or once every 2 weeks just to unload. To either tell me about patients or tell me about people with injuries from the supposed cure that they're shoving down our throats, my friends. You're talking about perfectly healthy people in the 30s and 40s who took it and, were like, I don't know, PhDs, Mensa members, members of the high IQ club who couldn't even string 2 sentences together because their brain won't send a signal to their mouth. Or people who had to be amputated, or people who had issues with their heart, or just people who have relatives who passed away immediately after taking the stuff. My friends, again, I'm going to repeat this again. Psychopaths tend to do their work while everyone is busy being offended. Us being offended is what gives them power. Us being busy, not just being offended, just being busy. Too busy to look around. Oh, I can't, I'll watch your video. I'll watch it. I can't right now, dude. Sorry, I gotta work. I have have to prepare this thing. My friends, what gives these people power is our inability and or blindness to see them coming until it's too late. And then, first it's 1933, and then all of a sudden you wake up and it's 1941, and you wonder what the hell happened. And someone's telling you that, hey, you're just going to a shower. You're going for a train ride and you're going to a shower. Or, you're You're just going to, like they have in Australia. You're just going to a quarantine facility in an airport. Temporary. Everything, my friends, everything's temporary. It's all temporary. Until it's permanent. Guys, again, those of you guys are watching, made it through this video, to this point, and if you're offended at what I'm saying, my best advice to you is get a lawyer and sue me. Or unfriend me, or cancel me, or unlike this page, unfollow this page. It's the best advice I can give you. What is temporary? Yeah. Whatever they have planned for us, what they're claiming, that they're gonna do, it's just temporary, We're just temporarily giving up our freedoms. What did Lincoln do? Habeas corpus, temporary, suspension of constitutional rights. My friend is writing, the problem is also economic takeover and political takeover. Yeah, of course this is economic takeover. I was just telling my friend today that, it's a controlled demolition. Actually, I was talking to Rabbi Kessin about this. I told him it's a controlled demolition. They're basically destroying the system that exists in order to replace it with something else as they, as they get a grip, get their claws on that new system, or create the new system. What does that say? Definitely, I'm not going to see you. What does this mean? Can you please explain? Yeah, economic and political takeover. But my friends, I spoke to Rabbi Kessin about this, and I asked him, I actually asked him what to explain or to answer what Dr. Z's brother asked me about. How could it be that a man that came along with orange hair, who did so many great things, at least for the Jewish people and for Israel, if not also for at least parts of America, how could it be that he had to go away? However that happened, right? Or temporarily go away, or just, go away. And whatever came after him is, basically a complete diametrical opposite, if not complete disaster. And Rabbi Kessin explained that, obviously not to compare this orange person to Moshe Rabbeinu, L'havdil, Haz v'shalom, but the point is that before we have the Geulah, which we're in right now, we're in the process of the Geulah, there has to be, when the Geulah happens, to make a long story short, there has to be a judgment that is satisfied. Meaning, if all the Jews are not deserving, or all the Jews basically are on the 49th level of Tumah, of impurity, which we are, that's one of the options, or one of the ways that Mashiach can come to save us from that. But one of the things is justice has to be satisfied first, my friends. And, one of the ways to do that is by basically having this walking disaster of an administration to satisfy that justice, my friends. And I said to Rabbi Kessin, I said, well, that's all well and good, but do you understand what kind of emunah you need to live through such a time? To believe, to not be not be concerned, but just kind of have the emunah to know that Hashem is still going to sustain you, despite the fact that you may have to quit your job because you don't want to take something, or I don't know, inflation, or gas prices, or house prices, food prices, whatever it is. You need a lot of emunah. And Rabbi Kessin explained that you have it's called the heels of Mashiach, right? In Hebrew, it's Hevle Mashiach. But what does the word Hevle also mean? It means a rope. My friends, we're holding on to a rope. My friend said he's not going to sue me. Oh, Baruch Hashem. Thank you for not suing me. Thank you very much. But listen, guys, any one of you who just is offended at what I just said for the past 30 minutes or however many minutes, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, but just know that again, people in the 30s, when they were told about the people that were in power in Germany, also said to the people that were telling them the stuff that these people are, that are speaking nonsense. They're speaking shtuyot. Right? Meanwhile, the psychopath Goebbels was doing his work with propaganda and all kinds of things. Golda, I apologize. Yeah, he was doing his work. All these guys were doing their work. And Mengele was preparing to do his work. I think he was even doing his work before that. And he was a doctor. He was a reputable, expert, specialist at what he did, my friends. Now, Bat is asking, so what do you think would be the resolution? You know, my friend, the brother of Dr. Z, he and I spoke about this. We asked each other, we kind of bounced off each other, what is the end game here? Well, my friends, I like to say, and I've been saying this, that no, and it's not civil war. I've been saying that all of the stuff that we're experiencing is basically what's called batel b'shishim, 1/60th of what we have experienced in those horrific past experiences. So instead of, playing out the horrific prediction by Dr. Z himself, where he predicts that millions of people are going to just plots, I like to say that, we're going to see, first of all, we're going to see a big shock in the media and in big tech and in, the political sphere, to the point where the media, the mainstream media, and this whole zeitgeist of like the Matrix, they're not going to be able to ignore the reality of what they've been pushing. They're not going to be able to ignore that there is going to be a big issue with a lot of people. And yeah, my friends, and Has v'Shalom, I don't think there's going to be mass, but I think there's going to be a lot of people who have a lot of issues going forward, and it's just going to be a thing where it's going to be like a nagging thing. And there's going to be a lot of lawsuits, and there's going to be a lot of questions. People are going to have to be held responsible. Heads are going to roll. And as I said before, unfortunately, people are going to start to say, well, wait a minute, look at all the heads of these agencies and companies. It's all Jews. If you want to, in my opinion, these are not Jews. These are Erev Rav. These are Erev Rav. My friend here is saying Israel's supposed to be aligned to the nations, do the tikkun. Yeah, listen, I mean, that's goes without saying, but you see, Israel are the guys leading the way in this whole stuff. Bennett, when he became prime minister, said, my predecessor wanted to wait until FDA approval. Is that something to hang your tiny little kippah on? I was going to say hang your hat, but is that something to hang your kippah on, Mr. Bennett? Mr. Yorovan Ben Navat? That you don't wait for FDA approval? My friends, the FDA had an 8-hour symposium panel on Zoom where they basically decided, where they came to the conclusion that it's not good to give the third jab in America. And then some way, somehow, they kind of rammed through at the behest of the administration, the Biden, that, okay, we're only going to do this for 65 and over people, the third thing. And they don't even have any to give out anyway. Meanwhile, my friends, this wonderful guy in Israel is running around saying, I gave everybody the third shot. And if you only have two, you're not even fully what. But as I said before, if you took the J&J here in America, you can go on a birthright trip. My friends, again, These are the machinations of psychopaths who are actually using egomaniacal politicians to do their bidding. Some of these, politicians are not necessarily psychopaths or sociopaths. They are just full of themselves. They want to be seen as the hero, as a savior. They don't know what they're doing. They don't realize what they're doing. They don't realize what the deals they've made and who they made them with. And they're just going. They're going and they're not even thinking. Whether it's Bibi, whether it's Bennett, my friends, it's madness. Do you guys see the movie 300? He goes, "This is madness." It's madness, my friends. But the people behind this, make no mistake, guys, make no mistake. Like I said before in a previous video, they see you and I as like garbage. We're the plebs, we're the peons, we are the, we're the mortals and they're the demigods, my friends. And they're working on stuff to make themselves basically immortal and godlike. But rest assured, guys, they are psychopaths. They are basically a modern day Amalek. And I'll tell you, and I'll end off with this, guys, I was telling the brother of Dr. Z, I said to him, the whole thing about Amalek, obviously it's the gematria of the word sofek, which is doubt. And there's every so often, I look around and I'm like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I start doubting myself. Maybe, these people, the majority who are running to do this thing, maybe they're right. And maybe we're crazy, the antis, right? And then just when I think that, something happens or I see something and like something legitimate comes out, some kind of piece of statistic, whether it's from Israel, from the UK, even from America, and I'm reminded that I'm right. And not only that, I'm reminded how psychopathic these people are, how utterly insane they are. They are killers, my friends. They are bona fide killers, alive and killing. So, my friends, we're in the battle with Amalek. We know Amalek attacked the vulnerable, the elderly and kids. And you could see this is what they're doing today. They first said, well, we're only going to give it to elderly or 65 and over. And now they're like, we're running to do the kids. The kids. Because the kids can carry and can give it to them. My friends, it's just, you have to realize this. You have to see it. And if you don't see it, I can't help you. And if you're offended at what I just said, I can't help you either. Sorry, not sorry. Again, get a lawyer and sue me. Cancel me. Unlike this page. Unfollow me. I don't know what to tell you. Unfriend me. I really don't know. But my friends, the only thing I want you to do, or I don't want you to do, is to come to me in a year or two and say, how come you didn't tell me? I wasn't told. Or to ask me, Tzvi, how did you know? Don't ask me how I knew. Just wake up. Don't ask me how I know. I know because I know. That's basically it, guys. Again, psychopaths are busy doing their work while you are busy being offended. All right, guys. Lala Tov.